Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And we are back. The FBI showed up at Nancy Guthrie's house again today. And this, of course, comes after a $1 million reward posted by Savannah. And joining us is someone who has spent a lot of time there in Tucson is Lieutenant Randy Sutton. He is head of the Wounded Blue, also a retired police detective of many, many years. Randy, you're there on the ground. You've spent a lot of time. Fill us in on what the latest is today. Do we know what the FBI is looking for? They suddenly swarmed on the house.
Yes, it's my understanding that about 6 agents entered the property. They parked most of the vehicles inside the garage, so you couldn't really see what they were bringing into the home. But the fact that 6 FBI agents were there would indicate that there is more evidence that they are trying to determine that they could pick up and have analyzed. And I'm glad that the FBI is doing that, because we have seen the unfortunate realities of when evidence was taken by the sheriff's department, how it wound up in a private lab, DNA evidence, which is so incredibly important to this case, was sent to a private lab at the sheriff's of his choosing, rather than going to Quantico or the FBI lab, which has all of the capabilities needed and would have circumvented an extra step. But unfortunately, they did not do that. So I'm happy to see that the FBI was at the residence doing what they do.
Lieutenant, do we have a problem with the sheriff?
Yeah, we have a serious problem with the sheriff. From the very beginning, when this investigation first began, let's go back and, we're almost 4 weeks into this now. It originally came in as a missing person, but it was very quickly determined that this was a crime scene. Now, the abduction of a person is very, very rare. A stranger abduction is very, very rare in the United States. At that point, the resources that are available to process evidence is absolutely essential to the solving of the crime. Now, the Pima County Sheriffs they're a very good department. However, their leader, the sheriff, made a very, leading the investigation, he made some serious errors along the way, right at the very outset, by failing to share this information and bring in the FBI, which has far more capabilities when it comes down to evidence collection and analysis. So that was the first major mistake. And I'll go into the reasons why I believe that happened in just a second. But the second part of this was there is absolutely no excuse that the sheriff ordered the release of the scene within just a couple days. Now, this is a major blunder. A major blunder.
Right, you contaminate evidence, right? I mean, potential evidence.
100%. We had tourists walking up into the crime scene because he released it. There's no excuse for that. And then he gave these press conferences, which were, to put it mildly, embarrassing to everybody in law enforcement, where he gave information and he took back the information. Then he gave more information. He walked that back. It was really a mess. And then there's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of you'll notice that you have not seen the FBI give one press conference here.
Yeah, why is that? And why do you think they need to be saying more and getting the public's help more?
Well, here's what's happening. The sheriff refuses to allow the FBI to take over the case. At this point, this is a major blunder as well. But he refuses to do it because right now there's no federal nexus, which means the FBI cannot take over the case unless the sheriff says, "Hey, you know what? We're in over our head. You guys have the resources. Go ahead and run with it." He refuses to do it, and this is once again, this is a major issue. But then you have to look at the reasons. You have to look at the history that the sheriff has with the FBI. And this is what's so disturbing, that the sheriff himself was under investigation by the FBI just several years ago.
Well,
yeah, I heard that.
We investigated that, and we said that yesterday. So I think there's a problem here, and there's a lot more to be learned. I hope
you got to come back on again, Randy. This was great stuff, really important. And you know what's so sad? You think about the woman's missing, and meanwhile, the sheriff is obviously having some issues. And the bottom line is we want to see Nancy Guthrie come home safe and sound. I mean, the whole country's praying for that. Lieutenant Randy Sutton, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, Randy, for the update.
My pleasure, Rita. Always great to be on your show.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.